Welcome to Where Are They Now? We reach into the archives of Lenape, Shawnee, Cherokee, and Seneca High Schools and invite selected alumni to share memories and fill us in on their career paths after commencement. Since Lenape's first graduating class in 1961, Shawnee's in 1972, Cherokee's in 1978, and Seneca's in 2005, over 64,000 individuals have received diplomas from these four schools. Here now is your host, John Donaldson.
Welcome to another episode of Where Are They Now? Today we will be reconnecting with an alum from Shawnee's class of 2002, Lauren Tretina. Lauren is a special education teacher at the International School of Brussels in Belgium, where she currently resides. Thank you for joining us today, Lauren.
Thank you for having me.
So this is always fun when we have these long-distance shows. Makes for interesting interviews. So you're a 2002 graduate of Shawnee High School. Let's go back in time a little bit and talk about some of the activities you were involved with while you were there. Yearbook was one of the ones that popped out to me. Talk about that.
That was a lot of fun. I remember coming in the morning, bright and early, where all the students came in, and I worked on yearbook always in the morning. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I ended up at the end of the year getting a grant. I forget what it was called at the time, for college for doing all that hard work.
Okay. One of the funny things about the yearbook you're working on is I ask guests if they remember what they had written in their yearbook, their bio, and they frequently forget, even the ones that work on yearbook. What we had talked before the show, and you couldn't remember. One of yours was to rollerblade in California. Did you ever get a chance to do that?
I did not rollerblade in California. I took a train across the country and ended up in California, but I did not get to rollerblade.
Okay. Have you rollerbladed anywhere in your travels?
No, I have not.
Okay. The other thing you wrote in your yearbook was see the world, and as we'll find out through the show, you have certainly done that and more, it seems. The other thing you worked on at Shawnee was morning announcements, and I don't think they were doing the video morning announcements yet, if I'm correct.
Not yet. You're kind of dating me, but that's okay. But yes, over 10 years ago, we were just starting to get into the technology and videoing people doing the morning announcements. So at the end of the career of morning announcements, I started doing the video, but it was mostly audio.
Okay. And something you did at Shawnee while you were there, one of the activities you were involved with, you worked a lot in the special ed room as much as possible, which obviously played a huge influence in what you did later in life.
Yes, I did. When I was there, I don't know if it's still as relaxed as it was more than 10 years ago. I had the opportunity that during my lunchtime I could volunteer in the special ed room and vice versa. When they had their lunch, sometimes if I had a study hall, I was given the opportunity to eat with the special ed students. And it really grew into a passion of mine. And from high school all the way through college, I've worked with special ed kids. And now after college, I've continued that journey.
We always like to ask our guests if there were some teachers that stood out to them that they had a connection with. You had Amy Felix as yours. Talk about that connection you had with her.
So I had her as my English teacher. I think it was my senior year. It could have been junior year. I'm not sure exactly which one. And the entire time, English is not my favorite subject. I'll just say it. And the whole time, she encouraged me and tried everything she could so I would do my best. And it turned out that we started talking not only about English, but about life and everything else beyond that. And we kept in contact through college, and we stayed in contact throughout all these years since high school. And it's really great. She's been an important part of my life since. So I'm really happy I met her and continue to stay friends with her.
That's a really great connection you made with Amy. Any other teachers that you want to mention? Or any other activities that you recall from Shawnee that stand out to you?
Nothing that's standing out or popping out. The morning announcements were a lot of fun. Mr. Nemeth was a good time. He made us laugh and joke around in the morning, which was always a great way to start my day. So I encourage everyone and anyone to get involved in the morning announcements and do something outside of the realm of the school day.
So after you graduate Shawnee in 2002, you land at Wesley College and you begin working on your bachelor's in education ed. Talk about your time and experience there.
It was a great school. I felt Shawnee High School, there was a lot of kids, I don't know if there still are, and I was going there, and I wanted to go to a smaller college. So Wesley is a little bit smaller than Shawnee, actually, and I ended up rooming with foreign exchange students at that time. And it got me really interested, even more interested in traveling abroad and accepting different cultures and understanding people from other cultures.
After you graduate from Wesley, you end up getting your master's in special education at the University of Phoenix. And then from there, you move on and you get some credits at Rutgers University towards your certificate in school supervision, which you're still trying to finish, I believe.
I'm still trying to finish it, and I'm going to go back to school again for my BCBA as well. So I've got a lot of things on my plate.
And as you said, you traveled quite a bit. I'm going to, I'll rattle off these because it's just impressive. You've been to Japan, Australia, India, Tanzania, Costa Rica, Germany, Ireland, England, Switzerland, France, Luxembourg, Spain, Switzerland, Hungary, Ukraine, Turkey, and more. The list goes on. I'm sure it grows constantly, which is just amazing. And only 2 of those were work-related. You've got a lot of travel in there.
And one of the good things about living abroad is that the accessibility to travel to other countries is so great. And it's really cheap. It's only a couple hundred euro, and it's a great way to travel, to live abroad.
Talk a little bit about how you ended up in Japan.
I ended up in Japan because in college I lived with Japanese roommates, and I was fascinated by them. I mean, they take their shoes off before they walk in the door. They're so incredibly proper, and I was really intrigued by their culture. So my roommates asked me to come back to Japan with them one summer, and since that time I spent in Japan, it just really, really started my traveling experiences, and I can't get enough of it. So after that, after Japan, I went to Australia, and then after Australia, I backpacked India, and had all these little other countries in between.
But you ended up landing back in teaching in Hainesport Elementary School.
I did. I ended up teaching back at Hainesport, which is right down the street from Shawnee, and I was there for 3 years. And even during that time, I would take all the summers, every single day of the summer, and travel somewhere.
Your dream has always been to start an autism program abroad, and while you were at Hainesport, out of the blue, this opportunity comes up. Talk about that and how you took advantage of that.
Fluke, and I was just Googling international schools one day, and I was checking their websites for openings, and there was a job opening at the International School of Brussels for an early childhood center, special ed autism class. And I sent them my resume, and I filled out the application because I was so interested in it, and that would be a dream of mine. I mean, when do your dreams ever come true? And I applied for it, and I didn't have any expectations because I was leaving for Africa in 5 weeks, and 3 days later, I got the job. So it's been an amazing experience, absolutely amazing.
And that's where you're actually talking to us from now, correct?
Yes, yeah. Of course, yes.
So one of your most recent trips was to Tanzania, Africa, but that trip also had ties to Shawnee. Talk about what the goal of the trip was and how Shawnee played a part in that.
So another dream of mine in life was to volunteer in Africa or volunteer in a less fortunate school, but I wanted to be a special needs school. So I emailed all these different volunteer organizations if you had any special needs schools and where they were located. And the organization called IVHQ, International Volunteer Headquarters, got back to me and said, we have a blind school in Tanzania, in Arusha, Tanzania. Would you be interested? And I said, absolutely, sign me up. And then I was talking to Amy about it, and I said, I need help. The school needs paper, pencils, crayons, markers, stickers, everything you can think of. And she said, that's great. I can have my Honor Society students help get supplies for you. And lo and behold, she got me so many supplies. I mean, I had 3 huge suitcases full of everything the kids from the Honor Society donated. And I have pictures and videos of the school I went to. And when I say they had nothing, they literally had nothing.
Say thank you, Shawnee High School.
Thank you, Shawnee High School. Say again. Thank you, Shawnee High School.
Very good.
In one classroom, there's 50 kids with one teacher, and maybe 2 out of the 50 kids have pencils. So it's a huge difference from the schools we have in the States. Academic.
Is this someplace that you'll go back again and do more volunteer work at?
I really hope to go back. And one thing about traveling, especially to countries that aren't as fortunate as ours, is that it humbles you just a little bit. You know, sometimes you find some water in India or Africa, and you don't always get your first option of what you want to eat. And you take what you can get in those situations, and it really makes you appreciate what you have in life.
So other interests that you have, you've been doing a lot of public speaking and workshops for family of children with autism. Talk about your volunteer and what you're doing with those families.
So in this community, in the Belgian community, actually the Brussels to be exact community, it's a large expat community. So that means there's a lot of people from other countries who live in Brussels. We are the European kind of capital. I think that's correct terminology. And services for English-speaking families are very few and far between. So if families come here with special needs students, the services here are very scattered. And I provide professional development workshops through a couple different organizations, as well as the school, for parents. And my workshops include things about helping your child communicate, helping your child manage their behaviors, and a couple other things, daily living skills, some things like that. So that's also a passion of mine, to educate parents and educate other professionals about working with children with autism and developmental disabilities.
And two other interests not really related to your work. You do bike and kickboxing. Talk about those interests.
You said I do biking and kickboxing?
Well, that's what I have written here. Do you?
That's actually, I bought a new bike. I don't have a car here. I have two bikes, so if anybody wants to bike with me, I actually biked to work today, and I will bike home. It's about a 35-minute bike ride to and from work. It's a very hilly area, but I really love biking. I love my new bike. I'm still not sure of the bike laws or rules. Of course, all the rules and everything here is in French or Dutch. Those are the two languages of this country. I'm learning. I'm quickly learning. And I still box. I don't do contact boxing. I just do the anaerobic kickboxing now. So still have both interests going on.
Do you have any other future trips planned?
I do. In 2 days, I'm leaving for Portugal. I'll be in Portugal for a week, and then I'm going to head to Morocco with a few coworkers. And after that, I'm going to Italy and hopefully Greece for the summer.
Sounds fantastic. Any plans to come home and stop back here?
That's a touchy subject. If this was my family I was talking to, I'd say I'd be there in the summer, but I'm really not sure. I want to live it up here as much as I can. I don't know how much longer I'm staying here. For Christmas, no doubt about it. Hopefully you'll have snow this time, because I came home for a week and there was no snow, and I haven't seen snow in a really long time. But hopefully during Christmas, maybe during the summer.
Okay. The last thing I'd like to leave our viewers with is, do you have any advice for our students that are currently in the Lenape Regional High School District?
I do, absolutely. Travel as much as possible. It really broadens your horizons, and it makes you such a well-rounded person. Travel, 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 travel. If I can say anything, travel outside of the United States.
Lauren, thanks for joining us today. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure here as well. Thank you so much for having me.
We've been speaking with Lauren Tretina, a special education teacher at the International School of Brussels in Belgium and a member of Shawnee's class of 2002. Thanks for watching, and be sure to join us again next time for more alumni interviews on Where Are They Now?